First episode of Critical Role's new show, Candela Obscura, premiered last night using their new game system from Darrington Press. Is it worth watching and perhaps playing? Let's take a look. Welcome everyone to a special edition of the Council of Six, where we bring you all the D&D drama and peril that will take your breath and steal your mind, both real and imagined. My name is Jay Lungaro, forever DM and sometimes player, and host of the Council of Six. Before we dive into everything Candela Obscura, please remember to smash that like, subscribe, and the all-important notification bell button so you know when we go live or upload a video. I would also like to take this time to let you all know about the Council of Six Patreon. First and foremost, I would be creating this content regardless of viewer support via donations. But with that being said, there's a good amount of cost that goes into producing these videos. As a Patreon, you can help us bring this high quality content and also get yourself some exclusive content and perks. Depending on the tier you choose, I'm giving patrons early access to uploads, downloads of maps I create, and downloadable AI assets that are used in my videos and campaigns, and even a free digital copy of my fantasy novel Souls of Magic's Dawn, which our one campaign is based off of. Link for this Patreon is in the video description, but without any further ado, let's talk some Critical Role. So last night was the premiere of Critical Role's latest entry in the TTRPG scene, Candela Obscura, a horror tabletop role-playing game utilizing Darrington Press' new D6 system, Illuminated Worlds. The story revolves around occult investigators who hunt down dangerous supernatural forces, making incursions into a world very much like our own. Candela Obscura is also the name of the paranormal secret society charged with protecting the sprawling turn-of-the-city century New Fair, a place built atop the ruins of an ancient fallen civilization, still teeming with the remnants of powerful magic. DM'd by the inimitable Matt Mercer, Candela stars the cast of Ashley Johnson, Anjali Bhimani, Laura Bailey, and Robbie Damon. Ashley plays a young orphan rapscallion, August Augie James, with which the story opens with. As the show goes on, the character of Augie is definitely spotlighted as the heart and center of the group of characters. Unlike the rest, however, Augie has no clue about the dangerous forces and occult oddities that flitter throughout his city. Anjali plays a proprietress named Charlotte Charlie Eves, who owns and runs a local well-known pub called the Sight Unseen. Her character is one of connections and networking, one that personifies the quote of "information is my business," but also hides a talent in the occult. Laura plays a young woman apparently from an affluent family by the name of Arlo Black. Despite being from this prominent family, she appears to be a woman looking for adventure and a curiosity of the abnormal. Robbie plays the scholarly, somewhat intellectually aloof Dr. Howard Margrave, a professor at Briarbank College. His involvement in Candela seems to derive from an insatiable intellectual and scientific curiosity of the phenomena that take place in this world. The story opens with Augie delivering his papers as usual. He stops by to visit an old friend. As the friend feeds the furnace with some coal, the last piece looking suspicious, the room erupts in a blue, eerie energy that spreads into freezing ice. Augie is tossed out of his body for a moment, and when he awakes, he finds his friend gone and the police have arrived. The scene then shifts to each of the other characters in their elements, each receiving an invitation from Candela Obscura about a recent phenomenon and to meet at a local diner. Other than Augie, they all seem familiar with the organization. As we return to Augie, an investigative force tries to convince him that it was all hallucination and sends him on his way. Shortly after, however, he is approached by a mysterious woman who warns him that everything he saw is indeed real and to not trust the authorities upstairs, and offers him the same invitations the others had just received. At the diner, they all meet, and the mysterious woman is revealed to be Alexandra, a lightkeeper of Candela Obscura, the people tasked with finding other people to form the clandestine circles to investigate the various phenomena that occur. Here we learn how they are all connected. Charlie helped raise the orphan Augie, and he has slept in Miss Charlie's office for many years, and they have kind of a mother-son dynamic. Dr. Margrave has worked with both Arlo and Charlie in past investigations. After a series of scenes involving detective work, including talking to the apparition of Augie's dead friend and tracking down a lead of the person who sold him the coal that exploded, they arrived at a foundry plant where all types of supernatural and deadly events occur. The group barely escapes after finding an ancient arcane device that traps the spectral entity they encountered and take it back with them and return it to Candela Obscura for more research. And that wraps up the story for the first episode of this 3-episode arc of Candela Obscura. Doing all of this takes a ton of energy, which is why I'm thankful that Council of Six now has a sponsor, W energy drink. I ordered some for myself to try it out before I promoted it, and I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. I don't really like energy drinks, but this one tastes really good. The flavor I went with is called Push and Punch. W is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash or jitters like other energy drinks. Packed with vitamins, amino acids, 150 milligrams of caffeine, and zero sugar, W will give you the energy you need to get through your next D&D session. It's priced to come in at about $1 per drink or less, much cheaper than most energy drinks, and you can get an additional 10% off your order by using our coupon code CO6 during checkout. The link is in the video description below. Now that we've talked about this amazing story, let's take a look at the mechanics of this new Illuminated Worlds D6 system. To begin, I want to say that the game and system really intrigues me in both its simplicity and focus on teamwork. It reminds me both the mechanics and setting of the Pandemic Cthulhu game, which I'm a huge fan of. To play the game, you only need D6s, and it uses a dice pool system, which means you'll be rolling a number of these dice and usually taking the highest result. Unlike a DC system in D&D, Illuminated Worlds uses a range system, which means a 6 represents a full success, a 4 or 5 is a mixed success, meaning you get what you want but it comes at a cost, and a 3 or below is a miss. How many dice are in your dice pool depends on your character's class or role. Each player will choose both a role and a speciality inside of that role, similar to how a class and subclasses work in D&D. The 5 roles are Face, Muscle, Scholar, Slink, and Weird. Each role contains 2 specialities. The Face has Journalist and Magician, the Muscle has Soldier and Explorer, the Scholar has Professor and Doctor, the Slink has Criminal and Detective, and the Weird has Medium and Occultist. The players all work together during character creation because during this time, they are also, as a group, called a circle, and there are perks and characteristics you all need to figure out together. At the top of the character sheet, along with your name and such, is a space for your circle, catalyst, and question. Under circle will be the name of your Candela Obscura circle your character is a part of. The catalyst is the moment in your character's life that led them to search out the secret society, and the question is what your character is seeking answers to now that they are within this society. These are all jumping off points that help build your character's backstory and also give the DM items to play off of. The sheet also includes a section for relationships to write down the names of the other characters you're playing with and the kinds of connections you share with them, because this becomes kind of important as the game progresses. You'll also answer prompts based on the relationships that help you flesh out these details. Your stat block, so to speak, is based on 4 major blocks. The drives, which is nerve, cunning, and intuition. The 4th one we'll get to in a moment, each with action categories under them. Under nerve is move, strike, control. Under cunning is sway, read, and hide. And under intuition is survey, focus, and sense. Depending on the class you choose, you will be proficient in one or more of these actions, which determines how many d6s you roll when using that action. The drives themselves have their own markings. Whenever you make a roll, you can spend a point from one drive that action falls under to add additional dice to that roll. There is only one way to refresh these drives during an assignment, and that is done through gilded actions represented by a diamond on the left side of said action. Anytime you make a roll using that action, you will replace one of the standard d6s with a gilded d6 instead, which is basically a different colored d6. If you take the gilded die's results, you refresh 1 point in the drive that encompasses that action. Lastly, there are resistances. You'll have a number of these at the start of an assignment that you can spend to re-roll dice when you want to try and avoid the consequences of a bad roll. The last block of the 4 we spoke about was marks. It's like your AC and HP. Here's where you can take damage in 3 categories: body, brain, and bleed. Body represents physical injury, brain represents mental stress and fatigue, and bleed represents damage taken from dangerous magic. Each of these categories has 3 available slots, and if you're ever inflicted with a mark but cannot take it because the slot's already full, you'll drop into what's called a scar. The beauty of this part of the system is it can fundamentally change how your character works within the mechanics. You'll come up with what your scar is, then shift a point from one of your actions to another. This reflects how your character has changed because of the scar that they have taken. Lastly, if you should ever need to take a scar and all 3 scar slots are already full, your character then is permanently incapacitated or dead. Aside from your character sheet, there's also a shared sheet called your circle sheet. All the players work together on this sheet during character creation to figure out the perks they have as a team. On one side is the circle abilities, a shared feat that any team member can use to aid another. On the other side is the circle advancement, which works as a milestone advancement for more action points. Under that is the resource section, which includes Stitch, Refresh, and Train, and works as a team version of Long Rest in D&D to heal and refresh abilities. There are only so many of these that you can use, and they are a limited resource, and they have to last the team throughout the 3-episode arc. So healing, refreshing drives, etc. all have to be discussed and used wisely by all members in a post-episode discussion and RP. The show itself was awesome and intriguing like any Critical Role production. The introduction of Darrington Press's new Illuminated World system and the turn-of-the-century real-world feel setting it gives boosts in interest for me, especially when it has that Lovecraftian occult feel to it, which I am a big fan of. I am definitely interested in this game and will be getting it when it releases. They have given out a quick play download for people to try out for free. You've kind of seen it here in the video as I've been going along, so anyone can go download it now and play a test session if you'd like. The link for the download is in the description below. Candela Obscura is scheduled for the last Thursday of the month on the Critical Role channel at 7 p.m. Pacific, so the next episode is June 29th. I will be doing a recap for the video for that as well, the day after it comes out. So let me know in the comments, did you watch it? Did you enjoy it? How interested are you in the new D6 system? Let me know. As always, please remember to smash those like, subscribe, and notification bell buttons. It helps the channel tremendously. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, so say we all.